So it's been a while since I've done an update, but that doesn't mean that things aren't happening. The bill didn't pass. I'm sure most of you have probably already figured that out by now. But I have talked to Senator Bailey, and he plans on bringing it back next year or something similar, so we will just try again. My ex-husband's probation was modified to include the conditions of no unsupervised contact with minors. So even though currently in the state of Maryland it is not illegal for a registered sex offender to sleep alone with a child, it's now illegal for my ex-husband to do so. So that felt like an accomplishment, some sort of step in the right direction. I also consulted with some more attorneys to figure out the next steps for all of the civil legal battles in keeping these children safe. And the information that I was getting back, the feedback was not strong enough. It was a little discouraging. I just really didn't feel like anybody was really going to do what needs to be done here, and the money involved is just massive. I was going to need about another $10,000 to get started in even filing things, and who knows how high it could go after that. But I actually considered doing it. I started a GoFundMe. I was going to try to raise the money to keep these children safe and get an attorney on board, but I just couldn't follow through with it. I never texted it out to all of my friends or shared it on my social media or emailed it. The idea just made me sick. Just $10,000 for what should be common sense, on top of it's over $30,000 that's already been spent. So I decided I would just, I scrapped that whole idea, and I decided I would represent myself. Not an egotistical thing, more of just a desperation kind of thing. Something has to be done, and finances or resources can't be the reason why nothing's getting done. So I decided I would represent myself. I started doing a lot of legal research. I started trying to find out more about the laws, and I found a Maryland family law statute that I'm actually kind of frustrated no one else has brought up to me before, but I thought, here's my ticket, here's what I'll focus on, here's how I will try to keep these children safe. And as I started putting information together and trying to get all of my ducks in a row, I reached out to a bunch of the contacts that I had made with the legislative work that I was trying to do a few months ago. Not for anybody to represent me. These are all organizations that I didn't think were actually applicable to my individual civil case, but they all know what they're talking about. They're all very familiar with a lot of this information, and I thought maybe one of them could just consult with me and make sure I was on the right track, or I wasn't doing anything that was going to make things worse or jeopardize anything. I don't want to be overly naive here. I realize that this isn't an arena that I'm experienced in. So I just sent out an email to all these different contacts and just said, hey, is there anybody on your team that would be willing to meet with me for an hour or two and just kind of review this information? And I heard back very quickly from an obscure name that I hadn't even really noticed and paid attention to or heard from on any of the other back and forth with lots of people copied on. And it turns out he's the legal director of a child advocacy group in the state of Maryland. And he mentioned the exact same family law statute that I had been researching. After a lot of back and forth, meeting, documentation, providing stuff like that, reviewing it all, they've decided to take my case. So I won't ever be walking in a courtroom again fighting for these children by myself. There's now a whole team of people that are experienced and knowledgeable and committed to keeping these children safe, and I am just so unbelievably grateful for them and for the fact that I'm not alone anymore in this. I've also been contacted by a representative from the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization about some legislative work that they're doing. It's in relation to the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, basically the reunification aspect of it. They want some stronger federal legislation prohibiting reunification of parental sexual abusers and their children. That would keep it out of the family court system so much state by state. There would be less discretion there because there would be a larger legal statute that covered that aspect, which of course is something I believe in very strongly. I don't think situations like these should be left up to family courts to decide and individual parents to be fighting. There should be stronger laws already laid out there that kind of dictate what should happen and focus on keeping these children safe. So I put together a letter of support and submitted that. We're working to see about the potential of me speaking in person. I'm not sure how quickly this will move, but if this is something you are interested in supporting, which I really, really hope you are, please message me and I will help you get a letter of support submitted also, because it's important and we should all be worried about this. Like I said, it's been a long time since I have posted an update, but sometimes I just don't really have the words to describe what all is going on. Sometimes I don't have the energy. Sometimes I don't know where I'm at or what the next step is, so it's difficult to clearly explain what's happening. And sometimes the hits that are coming are just too ugly to really talk about and share. So when I'm quiet, that doesn't mean that we're not here. We are. My children and I are living this life and trying to navigate this all day, every day. So please don't forget about us. We appreciate all of the prayers and support, and please keep them coming.